Hello and welcome back. If you're a mom working with a nanny or an au pair, then this video is for you. Because here's something I've learned over the last 12 years, most daily frustrations between moms and nannies are not about love or effort or competence. They are actually about culture. I'm Maria, a mom of three and a Montessori educator, and I've worked with nannies and au pairs in 4 different countries where we used to live in Benin, in West Africa, in Ethiopia, in Vietnam, and now in France, including having an au pair from Kenya. And through my Montessori nanny trainings and parent courses, I've supported families across all continents, mostly Africa and Asia and the Middle East and US. And today, I want to talk about the 5 cultural misunderstandings between moms and nannies that I see again and again, and more importantly, how we can fix them without blame or pressure or the feeling of micromanagement. Let's get started. Most nannies are actually deeply caring. They love children, they work long hours, they want to do a good job. But childcare norms are not universal, and we all come with our cultural baggage. So what feels obvious to you as a mom, especially if you're drawn to Montessori or gentle parenting, may be completely different from how your nanny was raised, trained, or expected to care for children. And unless we name these differences, we end up correcting instead of collaborating. So let me share the 5 biggest misunderstandings and how to solve them. And I have to confess, we encountered all of them with our different nannies and au pairs in all of those 4 different countries. Let's start with the first one and the most sensitive one. It is about emotions. And you might have heard kind of the big boys don't cry, right? So let me tell you a story. Before one of our nanny trainings, a mom came to me and feeling a bit worried. And she said, Marie, my nanny is kind and loving, but every time my son cries, she says, you're a big boy. Big boys don't cry. And I don't want my child to grow up believing his emotions are wrong. So can you address that in your training? And this now mom actually wasn't angry. She was just concerned and she didn't know how to address it without hurting the relationship with her nanny. And here's the key thing. In many cultures, actually, stopping tears is considered care. And comfort means distracting, minimizing, or even encouraging strength. But from a Montessori and a child development perspective, we actually would do the opposite, right? We would acknowledge emotions by saying, for example, oh, I see you're sad. Well, that was frustrating. I see you or I hear you. In our trainings, many nannies therefore tell us, I thought crying meant I was doing something wrong. And so nannies need first to learn that instead of correcting, we actually reframe. And this is why our training courses, we spend a lot of time teaching them that emotions are allowed, tears are a form of communication, and a calm presence matters more than quick fixes or distractions. And when nannies understand why, then they are also able to change. And one of the moms happily shared with me afterwards that since her nanny uses our practical scripts to acknowledge emotions, the separation anxiety of her son actually disappeared, and she finally can go to work without her child crying for a long time when she hands him over to the nanny. Isn't that great? Let's go to misunderstanding number 2. Don't touch, don't do. A lot of nannies are very caring, right? And a very common situation is your child reaches for something and will hear from your nanny, no, don't touch, or let me do it. And in many cultures, adults are actually expected to protect children by controlling their actions, right? This is what they have learned. But from a Montessori perspective, again, this is about learning and not doing. So instead of don't, we would offer, would you like to try? Or can I choose this or that? What would you like to do? And I saw this clearly with our nannies in Vietnam. There was a real fear of mess or mistakes or the child getting hurt. So many nannies were very much afraid that the child would touch something dirty. And once we shifted the language from control to the opportunity of choice, then that could change. So the children became calmer, the nannies relaxed because they had learned how to create a safe yet inspiring play environment. And the nannies started to trust the children, and power struggles disappeared because finally the children actually felt understood. So independence grows when children are trusted, and when nannies are trained to support that trust, then they can also let go. Here's misunderstanding number 3. Too many toys. Many moms tell me, well, my child is not focusing more than a minute because we have toys everywhere, but nothing actually holds his attention and he's just jumping from one thing to the other. From a cultural point of view, more toys often mean better care, keeping the child busy, showing effort and love. But from a Montessori perspective, again, I would always advise that less is actually more. We should only have one activity, one purpose, and a few selected toys or books. And this often allows actually children to get into a much deeper concentration. And I'll never forget a nanny doing the training who said, "Oh, I didn't know a child could play so long with just one thing." So when we reduce the choices, children actually focus more, right? And the nannies often feel relieved because then they don't constantly have to entertain the children. They don't have to clean up so much. And even better, the children start cleaning up together with the nanny because there's not so much. Here's misunderstanding number 4, screen time. Screen time is one of the biggest unspoken challenges nowadays, right? And often a source of tension. And let's face it, in many households and cultures, the TV is background noise, the screens are normal, and the children are used to having access to phones or to iPads. But Montessori is built on hands-on experiences, movement, real-life learning away from the screens. And I've seen huge differences between the countries, especially now comparing France and Vietnam, for example. And the solution is not guilt or only rules. The solution is offering alternatives. So your nanny needs to learn what to offer instead of screen time, how to fascinate your child, how to create inspiring play invitations that your child actually cannot resist. And in our trainings, that's why we give the nannies a lot of simple screen-free activities, ideas that use household items or recycled materials, and the confidence to engage children without the devices and get them off the devices. And this experience shows when the nanny knows what to do instead of screens, then the screens actually naturally disappear. Misunderstanding number 5, helping too much. Another big one is helping instead of guiding. I often observe nannies actually feeding too fast for the babies, putting on shoes immediately, doing everything for the child. And many nannies deeply love actually children and just want to make them as happy as they can. Through our trainings, then the nannies realize the importance of independence, the importance of helping to do it myself, because this will really strengthen the child's self-esteem, their motor skills, fine motor skills, gross motor skills, and their self-esteem. And once the nannies have understood, they will slow down. They will start guiding instead of directing. And the children very much often also like that challenge, and they will rise to the challenge. Now, one more bonus misunderstanding, and this is actually one of the biggest frustrations I often have, and that I often hear moms sharing with me. Why doesn't my nanny take initiative? Here's the cultural reality. Actually, many nannies were taught not to decide, not to question, not to act without instructions. And I saw this very clearly also with our nannies. But initiative doesn't come actually from pressure. It comes from the permission and the training and learning what to do with your child and to have these ideas. So when nannies understand their expectations and they feel respected, they will step up. Once they see how happy actually the child is when they come up with the new creative activities, how excited and proud they are, then that is the starting point to develop more ideas and to become more independent in their initiative. Now, alignment doesn't come from daily reminders. So to fix these misunderstandings, we need to develop a shared understanding and a shared language and professional training. That's actually why I train both nannies and parents often together so that you and your nanny can work together as a dream team. And that's why families see then less tension, more initiative, and calmer homes, and less mental load for you as moms. So if you ever thought, well, I have a lovely nanny, but something still feels hard, you're actually not alone. So from my experience with the nannies in more than 4 different countries and the many struggles we went through, I have learned that if we stop judging the cultural differences and we start bridging them, then childcare actually can become a partnership rather than a struggle. So if this resonated with you, then feel free to subscribe or to share this video with another mom who might need it. And please also feel free to reach out to check out our upcoming Montessori and parent trainings. Thank you very much for watching and for doing your best for your child every single day.